You are killing the planet with your PR. Hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Hi, my name is Mia and this is my virtual vanity, a place where we both love makeup and we are quite critical of it. And my intro was both an exaggeration and not, but before we get into that, let's talk a bit about what the topic of this video is going to be. Now, I want to talk about PR, and I don't mean PR as in public relations, but PR as in the product that beauty gurus get under the pretense of public relations. Marketing material, a payment for a review of the product, a sort of gift that comes with strings attached. There's quite a complicated relationship with sending and receiving PR and what the expectations are for it. This video is the video that I started my channel with. I actually had two poorly filmed videos about how PR is problematic and why PR is awesome. Since I hated looking at those and I felt the need to talk a bit about the subject again because it's such a hot topic. Recently, Samantha Ravndahl decided to quit receiving PR.
So in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about PR. So for about the past year, I've kind of been thinking about this decision. I've talked about it with a few of my friends that are influencers as well, that kind of wanted to do the same thing. I've come to the decision to remove myself from all PR lists.
A lot of other YouTubers, such as Jessica Brown, for example, have complained about the excessive PR that they get, and not only excessive as in a number of items, but also the way it is packaged.
From one high maintenance bee to another.
No.
Guys, this is what we're talking about.
I cannot right now.
It's a lipstick.
They hate the environment. Just FYI, when you're shopping, so you know. This is actually really cool packaging and I think it's beautiful.
Puka could sleep in this box. I mean,
this is just next level excessive, right?
I mean, this empty box weighs like 20 pounds.
I feel that we have reached such a peak consumerist situation where we are getting sick of PR, and not only getting sick of seeing wasteful PR hauls, but also the people receiving the PR are sick of getting it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against PR itself, because in the end, this is their job and they do need to receive product in advance, and it's good for us too that they get it in advance. But more on that, on why PR is good. But I just want to make it clear from the start so I don't pull up Lucia Tapper that I do not mind PR itself. I mind how PR is done by certain entities and how it is handled by certain beauty gurus, but I don't mind it entirely as an idea, as a whole. You get the point. I'm done with the disclaimer. Let's get to the actual video. So the first part is, what is PR? Because there was some confusion, like when real life friends commented on my first videos, they were like, you are wrong, that's not what PR is. And they weren't makeup people, they weren't people that frequented the makeup side of YouTube. PR is in public relations, you know, the job people have. Then there is PR as in this thing that happens with influencers on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. God, that is the worst pronunciation of Twitter that I have ever uttered in my whole life. I think it's called PR because these brands try to cultivate relations with these influencers. And I'm using cultivate relationships in a very deliberate sort of way. More details on that a bit later in the video.
Is 100% a business transaction. It's not because the brands just really like these influencers and think they're great and talented and all that kind of stuff. It is just, it's part of their marketing budget to send out products so people hopefully post about them to get a return on sales.
So overall, it is a very business interaction. They do not send you PR because they like you. They send you PR because they think that you have a good reach on their market audience, or because they feel that it will make them look good doing so. Like, for example, and I'm gonna call out Merlina for this. Merlina complained that these big beauty gurus are asking for big prices to promote her products, to be sent PR and actually acknowledge it.
Is saying last year was a really tough year for Makeup Geek, and you guys know that. You've seen that our name hasn't been talked about a lot. The reason why has been we haven't been supported by influencers because we haven't paid them massive amounts of money. We don't have $60,000 to pay someone to do one video, and that's the rates that we've been given.
And she said that from now on, keyword, from now on, she's going to start giving out PR to smaller influencers. And I'm like, okay, but you are still doing it for the money and to get promoted. You are not doing it because you care about those small influencers. You are doing it because you feel that that will give your brand more credibility and more exposure. Like, why weren't you thinking of small influencers when you were considering those big influencers as well? Why it's only from now on as opposed to, well, I wanted to give big beauty influencers PR alongside the PR I sent to small beauty creators. And I'm like, do not, just you, the watcher viewing this, do not for a second think that these brands care about the creativity and vision of smaller creators. No, oh, the only thing they care about is profit and their bottom line. And if smaller creators are gonna help with their how they're perceived on the market and with their bottom line, they're gonna support smaller creators. But if you're just gonna support smaller creators now that they bring you money, well, just saying, that's kind of shitty. So the first thing that I also want to pinpoint about this misleading name, and what I meant when I say that the cultivate relationships, is the fact that when you receive PR, there's also this psychological obligation to acknowledge it, especially for smaller influencers. They feel so grateful that they receive a free product that they enter this kind of unsigned emotional contract with the brand that they will talk about the brand. And a lot of them are also afraid of actually giving a true review, because then that might mean that future PR opportunities will be lost, both from the brand that sent them the product in the first place and from other brands. And that's because opinionated YouTubers do not receive the most PR. Like, if you look at YouTubers that are very positive and refuse to talk badly about products, such as Nicole Concilio, for example, those receive a fuck ton of PR. And the YouTubers that are opinionated and receive PR are the ones that have such a huge market reach that the gamble is worth it, such as Tati, for example. But the other side of the coin is that, yes, smaller influencers feel obligated to talk about the PR they have received and to be thankful. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to feel thankful about a gift. It's not okay to feel obligated, because that company doesn't want to make itself loved by you, or this gift doesn't come out of a place of love. It comes out of a desire to exploit you for future profits. Let's say you're a big influencer and you keep receiving PR. Well, that could lead to a sense of entitlement, because you're so used to receiving PR that when you don't even review the product, even if you might be interested in it. Like, I see a lot of influencers complain that they have not received PR, or that they're not on the PR list, or that they would love to review this product but alas they have not received it. And I'm like, you are filthy fucking rich. Go get the fucking palette. Like, if you really want it, go get it. Like, nobody should force you to review products that you want to review, or that you want to get, or that you want to own. But don't complain that people aren't sending you free stuff just to review. It's such an entitled mentality. And lots of big YouTubers and small alike, like, don't get me wrong, everybody's equally shitty in this regard. They keep lying through their teeth to their subscribers just to keep being on that PR list. For example, we all know how much Nicole Concilio shills Kylie Cosmetics because she wants to stay on that PR list, and people have been kicked off the PR list for poor reviews. The more PR they receive, the more video content they have, the more views they can attract, because the newest products get the most views because people want to buy and they want to see your opinion on them and blah 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 blah. So it's, in a sense, it's in their best interest to stay on the PR list. But you can do so and not lie through your teeth and make your subscribers buy bullshit, because your subscribers do not have the disposable revenue that you have. Maybe a lot of them just watch YouTube because they enjoy it without having a huge makeup collection, and when they do trust you, it's your obligation to not abuse that trust for monetarily gain, because then you are no better than those companies that in turn exploit you and your channel for monetarily gain. It is a whole cycle of advertising and publicity, because influencers are now the preferred advertising channel. You will see a lot of undisclosed sponsorships, undisclosed ads. That's because companies love to prey on this established trust between influencer and viewer. And if they outright say, oh, this is an ad, this is a sponsorship, then that trust, you put it a bit on hold because you know that that person is getting paid. And that's the same thing with PR that lots of people don't take into account. That is free product. And even Samantha Ravndahl, she even said that that fact that it was free made her biased, because she didn't take into account something that a lot of people have to take into account. And that is it worth for the money? How is the shipping? How is the performance? Is the performance worth to spend that amount of stuff? And I felt that that was really awesome and transparent of her to recognize that free product does not equal an entirely objective review. And even if you are the most opinionated and the most truthful person, you might still miss out some things that a person that buys the product with their hard-earned money does not. Enough about how influencers are sort of pressured by PR. Let's talk a bit about how PR dictates the content that gets passed around and created in the community. I hear lots of people asking reviews, oh my god, X product is so good, or X brand is so nice, why does nobody talk about them? And I'm like, it's because they don't get PR from that brand. The issue is that beauty gurus get so much new product and there are so many new releases. Like, imagine that I do a buy it or deny it video where this happens every Wednesday, and from one Wednesday to the other Wednesday, so 7 days, not even 7 days, there are close to 30 new releases each week. And I'm not talking about individual items, I'm talking about collections. It is completely breakneck pace. And I do not blame influencers for just reviewing the stuff they get in PR, because it's hard to keep up with the shit you get in PR, let alone buy other stuff that you want to try out. The volume of things that comes out is incredibly, it's obscene. So what the thing is that happens is that these influencers are so swamped with product that they will only talk about the things that they get PR, which leads to a bias towards the type of content that gets created. If you are a company and you do not send PR, you are not as talked about. It is as simple as that. You get less exposure, the viewers of that particular influencer are less likely to know about you, are less likely to try you out in the store because they are not sure about what you're all about. So that's why you see the sudden influx of palette reviews whenever a new palette comes out, or product reviews. The content tends to stay quite the same across big beauty gurus unless they try to be original themselves. Another issue is that because they are so focused on new product, the reviews they end up doing become a bit shallow. And that's what you end up with. You end up with first impressions, full face first impressions of X. And those are not that useful because a first impression is much different than a seventh impression, or the impression you get during a different season. Most of them just don't try out that product more than 1, 2, 3 times, and then they end up chucking it in a bag or in a box, and they never touch it again. So there is a definitive lack of in-depth, proper reviews because they get so much PR, and I don't blame them. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not their fault. I would too be overwhelmed. I would too probably start doing full face of first impressions if I felt pressure from my viewers that they wanted to hear my thoughts on a certain product and I just didn't have the time to do a review on that product because there's so much other stuff that I need to talk about. I am not shitting on them because of that. It's just, it is as it is. So this breakneck pace of receiving makeup creates a lot of waste because a lot of this product is never going to end up being used. They're going to touch it once, maybe twice, then they're gonna put it somewhere else. What this means is that a lot of product is either going down the drain, down the trash chute. It's not going to get used, and it's going to eventually get donated. But the issue with donations is that when you donate and you don't donate to friends and family, like I know a lot of American people donate to women's shelters, well, blinding highlighters and intricate eyeshadow palettes aren't really the things that interests those women. Most of them are looking for base products. Giving out boxes and boxes and boxes of unused stuff, and it still might not get used. There is still waste produced. Then there's also the issue of packaging those items when you ship them. A lot of PR packaging is absolutely crazy, obscene. It's big, it's clunky, it's one box within a box within a box within a box, basically a matryoshka of boxes.
All of that aside, like the product waste aside, the packaging that it's sent in is it's exorbitant. I'm just gonna show you guys a couple little for instances just so you guys can get kind of an idea of truly how much waste I have in my life. Recently, I was sent this perfume from Way, the hair company. So the perfume comes in this little packaging, which came in a box, which came in a box, which came in a box. And then inside the box, you have all this kind of extra shit. There's like little poppy things, there's these little crinkle things, and that kind of stuff is not uncommon.
If you want to see examples, just look at any PR haul or even look at Samantha's video, because she does give out some good examples of excessive packaging for tiny products. You are literally producing mass amounts of plastic and cardboard waste with that PR. And I'm not talking about you, the person that receives the PR, because it's not your fault. You did not pack those things. I'm talking about the companies. And what happens with these extravagant packaging is that they do it because they want people to mention them. They want to catch the eye of the influencer and their viewers with the crazy fucking packaging. They would kill the planet for one Snapchat story. And that's the truth of it. There's absolutely no reason why you cannot pack those things as tiny and efficiently as possible, so everybody could have a better time. The influencer will have a better time with storage. The planet will have a better time because you're not killing everything in sight. Shipping costs would probably be lower. Like, I have received indie packages that were so well packed, and like, for example, I received an Igneous Cosmetics order that was just impeccably packed. Like, the box was tiny, but there was a lot of product, and there was wrapping paper, there was bubble wrap, but still in a decent quantity. They did not send me a box the size of a TV for a couple of singles, you feel me? The issue is that not everybody can take the decision that Samantha did to not accept PR, and that's because PR can make or break your career as an influencer, especially if you're in the mid-range. Like us smaller influencers, we're used to not getting PR, so we create original content that is not necessarily product-based but more opinion-based. But if you're in the mid-range and your channel isn't based on opinion-based product but rather on review, then that can either make or break your channel if you do not have the disposable income to keep up with the breakneck pace of new releases. Basically, if you don't get PR, then you are late to the game. You're late to the game with reviews, you're late to the game with first impressions, you will get lower in the search algorithm simply because the bigger YouTubers got to the product first and people already watched their review of it. So basically, you are less likely to have someone that doesn't know you, so not an existing subscriber, come across your review of that product. I spent enough time talking about the bad qualities of PR, and I want to be balanced. I want to talk about also the good things that PR brings to the community, which aren't granted as many as the bad, but they're still there, you know? One great thing about the existence of PR would be that we, the consumers, get access to reviews before the product comes out. So you are less likely to gamble with a product and just buy it outright, because if you frequent beauty YouTube before that product comes out, you will at least get 6 or 7 or even more opinions on it that you can base your purchasing decision on. Another thing is that the respective influencer receiving PR will have access to items that they haven't possibly tried out before, so they get a bit more variation that they would if they were to buy the product itself, which means more exposure for us to new products, to new things, to innovations, to things that we might not have tried ourselves. So overall, the positives are that it's good for the consumers that they get PR. It's not great how people go about it, but it's good for us that we get to see an avant-premiere of how the product performs, of how the product looks, as opposed to, you know, fabricated swatches and doctored Instagram pictures. We get to see how the product performs on different skin tones depending on the influencer. We get to see how it works with different application styles. PR seriously helps us as consumers make a more conscious and informed decision, rather than if we would buy blindly because we do not have the patience to wait for a YouTuber's review after the product came out. Okay guys, this was it. I think I covered all of the points that I wanted to cover today. Please let me know what your opinion is on PR, on how it's handled right now. If you think PR should keep being a thing, if you want PR to go away altogether, if you want PR to stay but just like me want it to be handled differently. I'd love to hear your opinions. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up because that helps me a lot. Unrelated, but if you're curious about this monochromatic look, this is part of the monochromatic tag by Hannah Louise Poston, and I'm gonna link it down below when I'll have it uploaded. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day, evening, morning, whatever it is where you're from. Bye.